Worth more than $90 billion, he took the top spot from Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates thanks to recent jumps in the value of Amazon stock after an impressive quarterly financial report. But Bezos hasn't always been the billionaire titan he is today. He was born the son of a 16-year-old mom and deadbeat dad, and he didn't set out to be the CEO of an e-commerce juggernaut. "I won the lottery with my mom. Thanks for literally everything, Mom." Bezos got straight A's in high school, was the valedictorian of his class, and was accepted early admission to Princeton, according to Stone's biography. For a time in college, he thought he would be a theoretical physicist, but it was years later, while working in finance in New York City, that he had the idea to start Amazon. "I came across the fact that web usage was growing at 2,300% per year. I'd never seen or heard of anything that grew that fast, and the idea of building an online bookstore with millions of titles, something that simply couldn't exist in the physical world, was very exciting to me," says Bezos in his 2010 Princeton address. At the time, Bezos was just 30 and had been married for a year. "I told my wife Mackenzie that I wanted to quit my job and go do this crazy thing that probably wouldn't work since most startups don't, and I wasn't sure what would happen after that," he says. His wife told him to go for it. "As a young boy, I'd been a garage inventor. I'd invented an automatic gate closer out of cement-filled tires, a solar cooker that didn't work very well out of an umbrella and tinfoil, baking pan alarms to entrap my siblings," he says. "I'd always wanted to be an inventor, and she wanted me to follow my passion." But not everyone was on board. Bezos' boss took a walk through Central Park and told Bezos that while it sounded like a really good idea, it would be an even better idea for somebody who didn't already have a good career. "That logic made some sense to me, and he convinced me to think about it for 48 hours before making a final decision," says Bezos. Seen in that light, it really was a difficult choice, but ultimately, I decided I had to give it a shot. I didn't think I'd regret trying and failing, and I suspected I would always be haunted by a decision to not try at all. After much consideration, I took the less safe path to follow my passion, and I'm proud of that choice. When Amazon first started, it sold only books. Bezos would drive the packages to the post office himself in his 1987 Chevy Blazer. "I thought maybe one day we would be able to afford a forklift," Bezos tells Charlie Rose in a wide-ranging interview in 2016, "and it's very different today." After books, the next items Bezos added to Amazon were music and videos. Then he asked customers to see what else they would want to buy from an online retailer. "I sent an email message out to the customer base, actually 1,000 randomly selected customers, and I said, 'Besides books, music, and video, what would you like to see us sell?' And the list came back incredibly long," explains Bezos. "It was basically just whatever the person had on their mind right now," says Bezos, and that sparked an idea. One of the customers said, "I wish you sold windshield wipers because I need windshield wipers for my car." A light kind of went on in my head. "You know, people will want to use this newfangled e-commerce way of shopping for everything," Bezos says to Rose. "People are very convenience motivated," says Bezos. So that really started the expansion into all categories, consumer electronics, and then apparel, and so on. And expand he did. Today, Amazon sells almost everything, from toilet paper to groceries to electronics to fashion to furniture. When Bezos enters a new product category, he's not intimidated by a lack of expertise. "I'm never disappointed when we're not good at something because I think of how good it's going to work when we are good at it," Bezos tells Rose. And the apparel is like that. There's so much opportunity. Nobody really knows how to do a great job of offering apparel online yet, and we have tons of invention and ideas and working our way through that experimental list. Bezos has always been a rare combination of optimistic, idealistic, and visionary. Back in 2003, while much of the tech industry was still hung over from the dot-com bust, Bezos was aggressively foretelling the potential of the internet. "I do think there's more innovation ahead of us than there is behind us," says Bezos in a TED Talk he gave that year. "We're very, very early." As Bezos charged full force into the Wild West that was the internet then, he was, and still is today, guided by a single belief: do what's best for the customer. Thing that connects everything that Amazon does is the number one. Our number one conviction and idea and philosophy and principle, which is customer obsession as opposed to competitor obsession. And so we're always focused on the customer, working backwards from the customer's needs, developing new skills internally so that we can satisfy what we perceive to be a future customer needs, Bezos tells Rose. Another through line to Bezos' business strategy is his willingness to think long-term, he says. We're very happy to invest in new initiatives that are very risky for 5 to 7 years, which most companies won't do that, Bezos tells Rose. It's the combination of the risk-taking and the long-term outlook that make Amazon not unique, but special in a smaller crowd. Finally, he's obsessive about finding problems and fixing them. Taking real pride in operational excellence, so just doing things well, finding defects, and working backwards, that is all the incremental improvement that in business, most successful companies are very good at this one. You don't want to ever let defects flow downstream. That is a key part of doing a good job in any business, in my opinion. As consumer behavior on the web has evolved, so too has Amazon. Prime, the e-commerce's popular 2-day shipping membership, comes with access to premium television shows, for example. Being a content creator built on the back of an e-commerce giant gives Amazon freedom to be creative. For example, one of Amazon's most popular shows, Transparent, is about a patriarch who becomes a woman later in life. It's won 8 Emmys and been nominated for another 28. A show like Transparent, which has won Golden Globes and Emmys, is not over. It's not a show that could be successfully done on broadcast TV, because broadcast TV needs a much bigger audience, and so you can actually think about the creative process a little differently. You can attract different storytellers. You can go for stories that are narrower but incredibly powerful and well told. In addition to producing online shows, Bezos is also the owner of another kind of content, journalism. Through his Nash Holdings LLC, he bought the Washington Post in 2013 for $250 million. I bought it because it's important, says Bezos. I would never buy a financially upside-down, salty snack food company. That doesn't make any sense to me. But the Washington Post is important, so it makes sense to me to take something like that, and I also am optimistic. And I thought there were some ways to make it… I want it to be self-sustaining, a profitable enterprise, Bezos says to Rose, and I think it can be done. Bezos' empire now stretches far and wide. Amazon, which currently has a market cap of more than $500 billion, bought Whole Foods in August and also owns companies like Zappos and Twitch. Through Bezos' expeditions, he's also invested in companies like Twitter and Basecamp, among many others. While shipping toiletries and downloading books has made Bezos wealthy, his passion is outer space. This is a childhood dream, Bezos says to Rose. I fell in love with the idea of space and space exploration and space travel when I was 5 years old. I watched Neil Armstrong step onto the moon. You don't choose your passions choose you. So I'm infected with this idea. I couldn't ever stop thinking about space. I've been thinking about it ever since then. To that end, Bezos is the founder of Blue Origin, a company that aims to make space tourism affordable. Basically, what I'm doing right now is taking my Amazon winnings and investing them. Every time you see me sell stock on Amazon, it sends more money to the Blue Origin team, Bezos says to Rose. In addition to making it possible for more people to travel to space, Bezos says he's building the infrastructure for the next generation of space entrepreneurs. If I'm 80 years old, looking back on my life, and the one thing I've done is to make it so that there's this gigantic entrepreneurial explosion in space for the next generation, says Bezos, I will be a happy, happy man. And with that, we've reached the end of this video all about Jeff Bezos, from broke student to billionaire business. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content just like it.